the producer of Marvel's Moon Knight reveals that he was told, avoid the Avengers, avoid Endgame, and avoid talking about the multiverse at all costs, because we're not going to tell you anything in regards to any of that anyway. Yeah, that's an approach. So we have been finding out a lot of details in regards to Marvel Studios' Moon Knight and how it came to be, sort of the changes that they implemented along the way in terms of development, and then what ended up happening when they eventually figured out, okay, this thing is going to happen, now how do we tie it into the MCU? Well, the producer of the project was doing interviews recently talking about it, and one thing that was made very clear in multiple interviews was, do not mention anything that has to do with the Blip. Just don't talk about it. Don't talk about the Blip. Don't talk about what the character was doing during that time. Don't talk about anything. As a matter of fact, don't even mention the Blip. Pretend like it never happened. Along with that, they also said that they were told the multiverse. Yes, we have multiverse projects. You don't need to know about any of that. You just don't need to know. What's going on in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, WandaVision, Hawkeye, don't worry about it. You don't need to know. And this is the continuing tale of every time we hear about Marvel Studios having a new project and then it releases, afterwards we hear the producers, directors, writer talk about it, and they always say something like this, that they were always in the dark in regards to other things. Sometimes they weren't even told what their show was going to have in a certain sequence. Like, they were unaware of a specific thing happening because it's like, oh, somebody else did this. And for a while now, we've been saying that that could be detrimental to the MCU. And I think right now, people are honestly starting to kind of agree with it, because there definitely feels like there's a couple things that just get in the way. Like these mandates, for example. Like, don't talk about the Blip, whatever. Okay? But isn't this series set like just a couple months after everybody comes back? Yeah, but everything looks back to normal. Again, it's very, very weird how they approach this. Sometimes you could see it does work to the benefit of everybody, like Loki, for example, where nobody knew it was going to be Kang at the end, and that was something that even people working on the other projects were like, whoa, didn't see that coming, right? Like, that's pretty crazy. But something like you can't mention the Blip, or don't mention that the Avengers exist. Like, what? Like, that is the weirdest, most disconnected thing ever. Like, it seems like we're at that point where 5 steps forward for the MCU, 2 steps back. At least they're not DC, like 2 steps forward, 3 back, so they got that going for them. But some of these mandates are just strange.